Hello, all. So, got some stuff going on in the news. Let's see this. Let's see what this is. 18 stupid things men associate with masculinity today. You know what? Should I agree? There's a lot of dumbass shit people associate with masculinity. I think there was one guy. He called me a pussy for like wearing gloves in the gym. I was like, the fuck you mean? I'm a pussy because I wear gloves. I want to protect my hands. I can't work out as often if my freaking hands hurt. That's so stupid. Was that masculine because it's more convenient? Then why do you drive a car? Be a man and run everywhere you go. That's so stupid. Let's see what we got. 18th. Today we are diving into the often bewildering. Somebody loves to write. Let's get to the point, shall we? The flower faux pas. Some men believe that appreciating flowers is a sign of femininity. No. Some of the greatest artists that ever painted flowers were men. We just don't want flowers as a romantic gesture. I don't think that's and this is one of those things where it sounds like it's obviously written by a woman. What do you mean by appreciation? Huh? What does appreciate? Because to women, when they say stuff like that, appreciation, they're describing an action. All right. You don't go, you don't fucking get your heart all fluttering because you see some flowers. Now you're not appreciating it. It's just flowers, man. It might be nice to look at, but that's about it. But let's get real here. Appreciating beauty in nature isn't a gendered trait. What are you talking about? Most of the people who appreciate beauty in nature are men. That's why most painters were men. Even the people making women's clothes and all the things that make women beautiful are men. What kind of asinine shit is this? Flowers are universally beautiful. I mean, I guess the colors. I mean, it's just one of the most colorful things in nature. Yeah, sure. And there's absolutely nothing unmanly about liking them. It depends. What is this? The hearing aid hang up. The fuck does hearing aids have to do with masculinity? Believe it or not, there's an odd belief that among some men that wearing a hearing aid somehow saps their masculinity. Nah, maybe one guy might have joked at one time that he doesn't want to wear it, but he probably just didn't want to hear his wife. They just make excuses because they don't want to listen to people, so they don't want to put on a hearing aid. But if you wanted to hear, you wouldn't give a shit what someone challenged your masculinity. They prefer to risk mishearing important information rather than compromise on looks. Nah. I think if they put glasses would make more sense for this thing, but not hearing aid. It's an astonishing superficial stance, prioritizing vanity over effective communication. We ain't trying to talk that much, especially an old man who needs a hearing aid. He ain't trying to talk. He ain't trying to talk to nobody. He ain't trying to listen to nobody. Manliness isn't about, but I don't think it's a masculinity thing. This one is bogus. The love language. Yeah, that's a made up nonsense that we don't give a shit about. There's a misbelief among some men that expressing love openly and frequently is unmanly. I don't think it's unmanly. It's just like, it's dumb. It really is. It's just like, because the only reason women love these things is because most of the time they're just receiving. They're not doing it. If they had to do it all the time, it would just be a chore. To us, it's a fucking chore. But expressing love is not a sign of weakness. On contrary, it shows courage and vulnerability, which are hallmarks of true masculinity. Gaslighting bullshit. The sunscreen standoff. What? Sunscreen? That's for kids, not grown men. Nobody's saying this, especially not a freaking redhead. Like you making shit up now. I mean, maybe it's true. I don't wear sunscreen, so I don't know. But I doubt this. I highly doubt this. Does this sound familiar? It's a common refrain among men who see UV protection as a sign of weakness. It's not common at all. You're making this up. But guess what, guys? There's nothing tough about sunburns or skin damage. Stop the nonsense. Protecting your skin doesn't make you less manly, it makes you smarter. So let's drop the bravado and grab the sunscreen. This is not a real thing. What is this? The direction dilemma. Some men perceive asking for directions as a sign of weakness. There's nothing manly about wandering around lost when a simple question can get you on the right track. After all, there's strength in admitting when you need help. Men ask for directions all the time. Most of the people who have ever asked me for directions are men. I think the only time men refuse to ask for directions is when they believe they know where they're going. This, whatever. Doctor discourse. Many men tend to shy away from medical appointments, claiming they can handle a bit of discomfort. The notion that robust health equates to masculinity while ignoring potential issues is quite amusing, not to mention risky. No, that's not the thing. It's more that, you know, a common sickness, a little bit of illness. Men we'd rather just ride through that than go to the doctor for every little thing that's probably just going to solve itself. Because unless it's something serious that you need the doctor for, we don't really want to go there. And most of the time, the only reason that this argument even comes up is because women. If a woman is depending on a man, that's her husband or boyfriend or whatever, she's depending on him, and he gets sick, she gets a little bit fussy about it. It's the same way she would act with her children. They get a little bit fussy about it, and that's where the argument comes up, where he's refusing to go to the doctor or whatever, because you keep telling him to go because every little thing, he might feel tired or whatever the hell, and you're worried that he might pass away, and then you are left with the bills of children or whatever the hell, and you're pushing him to do that. But like, if a man is really sick, they'll go to the doctor. It's fine. I mean, there's some guys that just refuse to go because either they don't want to pay for that freaking expensive hospital bill, they ain't got no health insurance, none of that stuff, or they just don't like doctors. A lot of people just don't like doctors. And I can understand why. It's mostly because doctors have to deal with a lot of paperwork and a lot of nonsense. So oftentimes they just keep you waiting, and they're going around, and most of the time they're filling out paperwork in between talking to you. And it just seems a little bit impersonal, and yeah, it's annoying, especially when you see the time of your day just getting eaten away by the doctors. So yeah, the hygiene hiccup. There's a rather humorous belief among some men that neglecting hygiene makes them more masculine. No, not at all. Definitely not. In fact, often men be telling each other, like, you smell like shit. Like you gotta shower. Like, there's nothing masculine about that. The notion that dirt and stink equate to manliness. If you're working hard, yeah, maybe you would say that if you're working hard or whatever, you get a little bit dirty and you stink because you're working hard. Yeah. But just because you refuse to shower? Nah, hell no. Men keeping yourself clean and presentable doesn't diminish your manhood. It enhances your appeal. So let's bust the myth and embrace good hygiene. Now, some dudes are just dirty because they're lazy. A lot of women are dirty because they're lazy. I mean, there's a bigger myth that women are clean, which is completely untrue. Anyone that's been in a women's room, public bathrooms, any of that stuff, or just seen a woman inside of a woman's car or a house, like, messy as hell. Like, ultimately messy. They'll clean up stuff that people would see every day. They'll make their hair look great, their clothes look great, all of that stuff. Whole house, car, everything that can be hidden, messy as shit. Let's see here. Coffee code. What is this nonsense? Believe it or not, some men equate their choice of coffee with their masculinity. Are you talking about like those foamy frappuccino, pumpkin nonsense, sugary gayness? The idea that drinking your coffee black without sugar or cream makes you manly is a myth that needs to be busted. Your coffee, your rules. Nah, nah, homie, nah. You getting into that sweetness. You a bitch, straight bitch. What is this? Well, you look like he's about to cry. And that guy right there is definitely fruity. There ain't nothing masculine about this. Cocktail controversy. Hell yeah. Cocktail and wine. A lot of women. I've never met a woman that didn't like wine, especially red wine. Wine is disgusting. Like it is the ultimate, the worst shit. No, actually, it's not the worst, but I can't stand it. Most men don't like it. The cocktail controversy. The idea that enjoying a brightly colored cocktail makes a man less manly is comical. Is it? Is it? Look at this guy on the side here. Yeah, nah. Look at all that leafy shit and nah. And the glass, the way you got to hold it and stuff. Shit is fruity as hell. Started this out by saying they're right. And now I'm just like, the chore challenge. The idea that doing household chores somehow makes a man less manly is downright laughable. The fuck are you talking about? Most of the people that do stuff around the house are men. Household chores include cutting the grass, cleaning out gutters. Fuck you talking about, bro? Are you talking about like the stuff inside, like sweeping stuff, mopping and stuff, washing dishes, other stuff? That stuff you think men think is... What do you think happens when a man lives by himself? You think he just fucking dumps shit on the floor and walk around his day and just be like, oh, that's masculine because it's dirty? Like, it makes sense. Chores are shared responsibility, not a gender role. It is when you're working as a team. There's a certain roles. Like if one person is working harder than the other person, then if the other person have more time, then they'll assign cleaning duties for certain things. You don't want your woman out there cutting grass or lifting heavy shit. So you give her the easy stuff that is not physically demanding, like washing dishes or mopping and sweeping. It's not because it's like a gendered thing. It's just that what's more manageable for her to do, and what is she willing to do instead of the other stuff that you're going to take on. Chores are shared responsibility. Keeping your space clean isn't unmanly, simply part of being responsible. This one is nonsense. The handshake, hullabaloo. A handshake is a traditional greeting, yet some men treat it like a strength competition. Nah, we just do that to fuck around. It's not really that serious. I mean, there's some older guys that take it seriously because cultural shit that used to happen back in the day, but really it's not that serious. They seem to believe a crushing grip projects manliness. Yeah, and some dude that plays sports think that they have lucky socks. Like, it's just a dumb thing. It's not really about masculinity. Some people just superstitious like that. They're like, oh, if he has a firm handshake, he has strength of character or whatever nonsense. But here's a little secret. A handshake isn't a macho test. It's a sign of respect and courtesy. It's about body language and how you present yourself. Like if a dude can look you in the eye and confidently shake your hand, it inspires, trust and confidence in that person. It has nothing to do with masculinity. The dads don't do diapers dogma. Yeah, we just don't want to do it. Like this is not a masculinity thing. We just make up excuses. We don't want to do it. Sorry, sometimes dudes lie about shit like that. The baffling belief that being an incompetent father somehow, and what does that make you incompetent? We can easily freaking clean the diapers or whatever the hell. We just don't want to do it. Do you want to do it? None of us want to do it. And if you're spending most time with the baby, we'll take a little bit extra time at work, and so we can avoid that. Incompetent father somehow enhances in masculinity is outright laughable. All right, so now you get into the gender roles thing. What is the father's role? Is it changing diapers and going goo goo gaga all the time and nursing the baby? Or is it setting rules, teaching them how to do this, teaching them how to do that? Like, whatever. The car connection conundrum. Many men tie their masculinity to the vehicle they drive. I mean, if it's a Prius, I can understand that, but those cars. I mean, men like toys, and we compare with our toys, and we like giving each other shit. This is nothing about masculinity. Like, dude could have a perfectly fine car, but like another dude has a better car, and it goes faster or whatever, and we give each other shit about it. Like, oh, you bitch, look, you got a bitch ass car. Like, it's not really that serious. Like, men mess around with each other all the time, make jokes, all that stuff. And no one takes it seriously until a woman hears it and they're like, oh, these guys are, their masculinity is so fragile, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's not that big a deal. They treat their car as a shining symbol of manliness. No, we don't. Although your ride might be expensive, it's important to remember that your worth as a man isn't determined by your wheels. No, that's not what it is. It is men like toys, and we also like status. If you have a better car and it's more expensive and all that stuff, it shows your status to other men, and it's like, it's bragging rights. Like, men respect stuff like that, and men like respect and status. So like, if you have that kind of car, other guys are going to be looking at him like, damn, that's a nice ass car. What, you know what I mean? They respect you. That's what it is. The liquor litmus test. The misconception that a man's ability to consume alcohol is a measure in masculinity is dangerous, and it is dumb. Oh my God. It's not a measure in masculinity. We're just competitive, and we're going to be drinking anyways. We're going to turn it into a competition. It's not that serious. Stop reading too much into stuff. It's not about how much you can drink. You don't care about how much you can drink. It's a competition. Who wins doesn't really matter. Alcohol isn't a measure of manhood. It's a beverage to be enjoyed responsibly. Oh, God. The emotion embargo. The idea that withholding emotions is synonymous with being manly is tragically misguided. No, incorrect again. This nonsense about, oh, men can't show their emotions. What are you talking about? There are plenty of men that show their emotions freely. You know what we call them? Pussies. There's a reason that word exists, because men like that exist. The problem is not withholding your emotions, it's controlling your emotions. It's easy to show your emotions. It's just a reaction. Being able to control it, take care of whatever you need to take care of. And if you have to show, if you have to, deal with those emotions, you deal with them. But you don't make it a performance thing where you have to show it and make sure everyone gives you sympathy. And you're like, oh, look at me. Look how I'm crying. Look how sad I am. Like, a lot of emoting and all that stuff, it's just performative. And no one respects a man that's doing that shit. For women, if women does that, then, you know what I mean? There's a lot of social sort of forgiveness where you're like, oh, it's fine. There's a woman that's doing that. If a man does that, he starts crying or he starts getting angry, all that stuff. People lose respect for him. From anger to sadness. Doesn't matter what he does. He gets too angry and he can't control it. The people are like, oh, shit, what's wrong with that guy? He gets sad and he starts crying. People are like, whoa, that dude's a bitch. I can't trust him. You know what I mean? So there's all of the stakes for expressing your emotions For a man, it's 100%. For women, it's like maybe 50, 40%, something like that. So there's a low bar for the consequences for them showing their emotions. For a man, it's all the way up there. Feelings aren't gendered. They're a fundamental part of being a human being. So guys, expressing emotions isn't a sign of weakness. It definitely is. It's a sign of being a genuine and honest. No. Showing emotions is very performative. Dealing with your emotions is what men should be doing, not just showing it. The umbrella unwillingness. Some men believe that carrying an umbrella somehow challenges their masculinity. Well, it looks like that, maybe. In a particular thought, preferring to get drenched rather than appear weak. I don't know if this is true. Maybe it's a European thing. I don't know. It sounds stupid. Remember, an umbrella is a tool for comfort, not a measure of masculinity. I've never heard that shit, ever. What is this? Pink phobia. And pink is a very bright color and it stands out. So like wearing it brings more attention to yourself than necessary. And usually men aren't trying to stand out by what they're wearing. You draw attention to yourself, a lot of that attention is going to be negative. And plus, pink is not really that appealing. Like, really? The taboo surrounding men wearing pink is an age-old stereotype. Not really. Back in the day, pink was seen as masculine and men were wearing pink. Not really. Now it's just like, whatever. Men wear pink all the time now. No one cares. It's not really a big deal. The color of your clothing doesn't determine your masculinity. It does. It does somewhat. You're wearing certain bright ass peacock type colors that you're showing, that you do just for attention. That shit can challenge your masculinity. So go ahead and rock the pink polo if that was make you feel good. No. The cat conundrum. The idea that expressing disdain for cats makes a man more manly is ludicrous to the extreme. No. Who the hell said it was masculine to hate cats? A lot of men like cats. Men just prefer dogs because cats are assholes. Love for animals isn't gender specific. It shows compassion and kindness. Who the hell do you think domesticated animals in the first place? Guess what? It was men. These people. Is that it? All right. So I guess that's it. A lot of these was kind of ridiculous. I can't even remember the ones I agreed with, but whatever. Until next time.